Cool.
Right.
And I don't think I'm going to ask anything that's going to piss you off, but if I do,
I'm in an interview right now with Lieutenant Barnes in reference to me requesting a copy and filing a complaint against Huntsville Police Department.
okay. Today's date is July the 2nd, 2020. The time is 9:17 a.m. I'm Lieutenant Jim Barnes. I'm here with Ronald Wilson in reference to Internal Affairs Investigation 20-001. Mr. Wilson, I'm going to kind of reiterate some of the facts as I remember them. Please correct me if I'm wrong. This occurred on June the 18th at about 10:05 p.m. You were at Walmart initially. Your car apparently broke down. You decided to walk across the street to Taco Bell to get something to eat.
Yes.
Walked to Taco Bell. You tried to go in the lobby. We're told by some employees that the lobby is closed, but go through the drive-thru.
No. There's an exit at Taco Bell and there's an entrance. I came around by the exit because I was on foot. When I walked around to go into the entrance, two employees were coming out. They said they were getting off. By the time the door got ready to close and me getting ready to come inside, a female yelled from the back, "Lock that door." She didn't see me in the lobby. So I bagged back out, let them lock the door, turned and asked them, can I still go through the drive-thru by me being on foot?
So you specifically asked them about the on-foot part?
Yes,
okay.
Because I was walking and I knew I left my car over at Murphy's in front of Walmart on 45.
And so they said, yes, you can go through the drive-thru.
One of them had dreadlocks, but both of them were black that were getting off that night.
Okay, so two black males that worked at Taco Bell said, go ahead and go through the drive-thru.
Yes.
You proceeded to attempt to go through the drive-thru and were told by another employee,
get away from the window. We want to call the police.
Okay. Did she tell you initially that, hey, did she let you know that Taco Bell's policy is after dark not to allow walk-ups through the drive-thru?
No, she did not.
So she just said, get away from the window, I'm going to call the police.
And because when I came around the corner, there was no one in the drive-thru.
Gotcha.
So I walked up to the window and then I thought, hey, this is a prison town, it's at night. When she came to the window, I was probably 7-8 feet from the window, and I'm under the impression that I would startle her, but I didn't want to startle her. That's why I wasn't up on the window.
Okay. Did you go to the, for lack of a better word, the microphone part where you actually order first, or you just go to the window?
I go straight to the window.
Straight to the window?
If I'm remembering right, I went straight to the window because I'm on foot.
Gotcha. So she said, get away from the window, I'm going to call the police.
Yes. That's what I interpreted, looking at her lips through the glass.
Okay. Did you at that point make any threats? Did you give her the middle finger or say anything? Or how did you react to it?
I'm trying to remember exactly. When she came to the window, I was backed up. She said she was going to call the police. She walked away. Another woman came to the window. It was a shorter woman with black hair. She came to the window. Then I started trying to explain, hey, the two guys told me to walk through the drive-thru. Then she walked away from the window. I don't remember passing anything back and forth because the window never opened. So there's no need of saying something she can't hear me.
Yeah.
But because if I wanted to get out the way, the exit was still unlocked at this time. I could have went over and went into the exit because while she was on the phone with y'all, she walked over and locked the exit. So I assumed that I wasn't a threat until then. That's another reason why I reiterated in my video, this is the bullshit that I have to deal with.
Okay. So maybe you answered, I didn't quite hear.
I don't recall making any threats to her because I wasn't.
Did you flip her off?
I might have did that. Okay. But that was after I read the lips that get away from the window, I'm gonna call the police.
Let me ask you a dumb question. And this is like,
it don't have to be dumb, just ask a question.
Let me ask you a question.
This is business, let's get this out the way. I have other things to do.
She tells you, get away from the window, I'm gonna call the cops. Why didn't you just leave at that point? Go to Jack in the Box,
Because me being black in this time, leaving would have caused more of a problem than me staying there. Okay. That's how I see that.
Okay.
And I felt that I didn't do anything wrong, so why run from law enforcement?
No, I get you. And going up to the window and asking to order is not wrong. Now, she tells you they're not. Now, I can argue that Taco Bell should have told you, sir, I'm sorry, we don't accept walk-ups through the drive-thru after dark. At that point, instead of just telling you to leave, I'm going to call the cops. I think a person to person should have said, hey, sir, sorry, we can't serve you through the drive-through. You're gonna have to
But
leave.
you can't speak for what she should have did.
You're right. I can't.
We wouldn't be
but
here if she'd have did the right thing.
You're right, but not everyone does the right thing. That's why I have a job, unfortunately.
Sure.
Okay, so you were upset. Maybe flipped her off, maybe didn't. Officers arrived on scene. You initially talked with Officer Craig.
The female.
The female officer.
She approached me.
She said, hey, we're here to investigate some threats.
She's
you made
here.
the comment, no, I didn't threaten anyone. She said, okay. She goes, hang tight, stand over here.
No, it was actually we conversated because I explained to her the reason of the call. After she listened to my side of the story, that's when the other officer pulled up
Officer
and dismantled
Norris
his
showed up
vehicle.
at that point. Okay.
She told me, stay between these two vehicles or over here. You can sit down or whatever, Mr. Wilson. I need to go get her side of the story. And she turned to walk away. I don't know if they passed words or engaged with each other or anything, because when he came out the vehicle, I was in the process of going to sit down. He came to me. And that's when he approached me, standing over me, asking me, I know we said something when we get mad, just go on and tell me what you said to her. And that's when I made the statement, hey, I'm 46 years old. I'm not going to threaten no one.
Okay. Now you do understand that an officer is going to engage you when we're there on a call. We were called. We were told that you made a threat. I don't know if you did or didn't. It doesn't really matter for the purpose of my investigation. But that's what we were told. So he's going to ask you questions. Did you threaten?
If this is going to cover his actions, the way he approached me and the communication between two officers was not effective, because she should have engaged him upon him getting on the scene to give him an idea of what me and her did. Communication between the officers was vital at that point.
Well, I don't completely agree. If we get multiple officers.
I have a job interview that I need. I told you at
Yes, sir.
10:30. So we're stretching this out too long because I don't want to go back and forth.
9:25.
But I don't want to be late or in a rush.
I will get you out of here as quickly as I can. I got some questions. You don't have to answer anything.
Okay.
You can leave whenever you want to.
No, I'm going to answer the
Okay.
questions, but I just feel that now's not the time to come up with an excuse or to justify what a right person should do. The situation has already happened. I'm taking actions, and I need what you have, and I need to assist you as much as possible.
Yeah, and like I said, you don't have to talk to me. You can leave. I have to ask questions, and if you
gave me the impression that you want to get the truth and the bottom of this. That's why I'm here willingly answering questions.
And I appreciate that. I am going to ask questions, like I said, that you may not like, and I may say things that you don't like, but that's part of the investigation. It's not meant to be mean or belittle you or anything. Okay, so he came up. You were sitting down. You stood up. You all engaged. He told you to sit down.
We engaged while I was sitting down.
Okay, and then you stood up.
And then I got up because he was standing over me, looking down on me, talking to me. And that bothered me, because in no way did I give the first officer on this scene any
I don't think you did
inclination that I was going to be hostile, combative, none of that.
Now,
So I feel that the way he engaged me should have been and would have been different if there had been communication between both of the officers.
Okay.
Period. That's
Okay.
my impression of how this should have been handled.
Yes,
I have 13 years in the military. I was QRF. We engaged.
What is QR?
Quick reactionary force.
Okay, you told me that. Let me since you brought that up, let me ask you this, and you may not like this. You're in the military. You were a sergeant in E5, right?
I was E6, then I got demoted to E5.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You give an order to one of your soldiers. Go over there and stand. Guard that post. Go over there and do that. And he doesn't do it. What do you do at that point?
Two things. There's a counseling for failure to follow a direct order. But as a leader, depending on the character of that soldier, I want to know why.
Sure you do.
He didn't do what I told him to do if this was a first-time offense. Now, if this was a repeated problem, then there are different repercussions to repeated actions.
But you're in a hostile environment. You told me you were on a special reaction team, which is of the best. You say, Soldier Barnes, stand over here.
What does that have to do with the video and your investigation, Officer Barnes? We're deviating.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Give me some leeway, please. You told me you trust me. No, you
I'm just
may not.
asking. Let's just get.
Okay.
What are you implying? Is what I'm saying.
You stood up, right or wrong. Officer Norris said, "Hey, have a seat." which is
No,
his
he
right.
said sit down.
Okay, he said sit down.
That's what he said.
Which is his right to do if he feels he needs to control a situation.
Well, there's a way
And
he should have did that.
Let me finish. Come on, man. I've given you more than a chance to talk. He said sit down. You said no. He asked, hey man, sit down. Or he may have said it to piss you off. Sit down. You said no. What? He gave you an order that was lawful. It was not immoral, unethical, or unlawful. I'm just trying to get, why didn't you sit down?
Because it wasn't a lawful order. I'm not his subordinate. He was called on a call that was false from the jump. So why, like I asked him, are you detaining me? That was the next question.
And he said yes.
And he said yes because I'm being a disturbance. That's what he said. Then I said, what?
Well, I'll have to watch the video again. I think we were dispatched to a disturbance.
No, he said, you are a disturbance. That's what he said. And then I said, I'm the reason you're called. And then he said, you're interfering with a public official. I said, how am I interfering? And I'm the reason that y'all are called out here. That's what I said. You ought to go back and rewatch it. Sir.
No, I've watched it about 10 times, but I will rewatch it.
Yeah.
But you still haven't answered my question. A police officer, whether you agree with the cop or not, he may be out of line telling you to sit down, but he has the right to do that. He has the right, or she.
He don't have to give me no orders. What he did when he came on that scene was ask me to sit down, not tell me, demand me, or order me.
Well,
we're not going to go back and forth with it.
But an officer can demand you to sit down.
He
or
didn't
to
demand. What he did was
said,
sit down. That's what he said.
Okay, why didn't you sit down?
Because I told him I wasn't sitting down.
Okay. He then detained you and he placed you in handcuffs.
Yes.
He told you to spread your feet, and according to him and to the other officer, and unfortunately, I'm hoping that you have a video. My video does not show. I'm waiting on Taco Bell's video. They're going to give me their video. Doesn't show you not spreading your feet, but it looked like you did not spread your feet.
I didn't.
Okay.
Because I was in flip-flops and I told him that I'm service connected for my feet after he asked me to spread my feet and kicked me twice to spread my feet. I turned and said, will you not do that? I'm service connected for my feet. And he did it some more. And then I turned to Officer Garcia and I asked her, I said, ma'am, will you please,
Officer Cray.
whatever her name is, I turned to her and I said, ma'am, will you please ask him to stop? She said, do what he said, and she turned and walked away.
But
so that means that
why wouldn't you spread your feet when he's patting you down? He has the right to detain you. You can disagree with that, but he has the right.
This is why I didn't spread my feet. You see them planetarius warts right there? That's why I wear flip-flops, because when weight shifts on them things right there, it hurt. That's why I couldn't spread my feet. If you asked him what shoes I had on that night,
no, I saw that they had flip-flops when you were walking up.
That's why. See them?
Okay.
See this? All this is service connected from wearing boots like I did in the monsoon season in Korea, 98, 99.
Okay. Then
That's
he said, get in the car. And you didn't get in the car.
Right. I didn't. Because I had knives in my pocket that he didn't check.
But even after you got the knives, he said, have a seat.
He said, get in the car. He had the door open already, and he was shoving me in my back. I can't get in a vehicle like that. I'm human. You have me subdued already. There's two officers. At no time was I combative. The force that he used was unnecessary. I had flip-flops on. He done kicked me 5 times, getting me to spread my feet. And I told him, if he'd have asked me to identify myself, then he'd have seen, because on my driver license, it states veteran. You have to be 30% disabled or above to get veteran on your. If he don't know that, then he needs to be aware, just like we supposed to know city ordinances.
No, I understand what you're saying, but
there's not a but in this situation,
there is.
sir.
Certainly there is, Mr. Wilson.
It's not. There's no gray on this one.
From the get-go.
Understood. That's your opinion.
You were upset.
I wasn't upset. I was bothered for the treatment that I was receiving. That's why I was upset.
But Taco Bell's policy, and this is what they've told me.
I don't know Taco Bell's policy.
I know, but
why the 2 guys that came out the door didn't tell me Taco Bell's policy?
Maybe they don't know. They're not management. I don't
my
know
responsibility.
However, when a restaurant tells you, get away, we're calling the police, you certainly can stay. But if we get there and you're there, we have to investigate it.
And that's
we're
what the
obligated.
first officer on the scene did. What you're demonstrating now is you're showing me The situation with the first officer upon me coming to Huntsville. Then the second situation. There's not communication above officers. There's nobody
doesn't have to
checking
be
to
all
make
that.
sure
There
that they're
doesn't- if an
going
officer
by the
goes inside,
standard.
the other officer has the charge of the scene, just like in the military.
You can't use that comparison because just like in the military, when someone comes upon the scene, we communicate with each other. Before we even engage, we need to know, has anything been said to the
But you know as
complainant
well
or
as
the
I do,
victim?
there are times in the military, if it's chaotic, there is no communication.
What was
And
what was chaotic about that situation for you to justify his hostility upon dismounting the vehicle? That's what I'm asking.
dismounting the video.
Yeah, when he got out the vehicle, he was already, I looked at his face and it showed me, boy, this woman called us, and it was only a Hispanic and a white woman in there working. The white woman was on the phone. I'm a black male in a prison town standing through the drive-through of Taco Bell that didn't do what the white woman told me to do. Then she threatened to call the police, so that's why I didn't leave.
Okay.
I'm a taxpaying citizen that should not be stereotyped, category,
Man,
none of
You're
that.
the one that keeps saying race in this.
Yeah, because that's
not
what I
mentioned
feel it
that
was.
one time this whole conversation.
I'm telling you
I
what
could
it
care
was.
less if you're black or white.
That's how you feel. But you can't dictate Officer Norris' actions if he was not out there.
Well, and you've said it, you're a black man in this town, so you decided to stay so the police wouldn't hassle you, but yet when the police ask you or tell you to do something, you didn't do it.
Yeah.
But
Because I didn't
okay,
have
that
to,
contradicts what
I
you're
didn't
saying.
have to sit down. And the way he said it should have been a whole lot more different. Pitch, tone, and dialect dictates
Okay, so if he said, "Sir,
response.
could you have a seat?"
I'd have sat down.
Okay.
But he didn't do that. He said, sit down. You tell a dog or some kids to sit down like
Well,
that.
I don't think he referred to you as a dog or a kid.
You don't have to. But the
But
implementation.
he does. You do agree or disagree if an officer is controlling the scene and asks you to sit down or asks you to stand there.
Where
for
at
his
what
safety.
point did he lose control of the scene? Because the first officer had total control. I followed her instructions. I stayed between both vehicles, or I had a seat while she go find out
But
what was
she
going
left,
on.
and another officer.
She
then it
passed
became
right
his
by
scene.
him.
Okay.
They should have communicated, I did not demonstrate a threat. Now, dictating if any scene that you go on, the people on the scene dictates your behavior. Totally.
That's wrong. We, as the police officers, when we go to a scene, we have to have control for our safety and for the safety of the people there. And as long as the people
Okay.
comply with
You're
our
giving me an
lawful
answer,
requests.
sir, but that's not what I said. What I said is, when arriving on the scene, when you get there, the attitude of the people that's there dictates your behavior. If everybody's submissive and answering questions in a monotone voice, not being emotional
Sure,
or expressing
sure.
things, everything is gonna go smoother.
Sure.
I demonstrated that with the first officer. So that hostility that he brought, it regenerated and bounced back off me. That sit down, you started off wrong. Her engagement was totally different. And that's why I stood there, didn't move, answered everything she asked me.
I'm not saying you didn't. I agree with you on that.
And I did what she
But
asked.
I disagree with you. Now, you may not like Officer Norris. Maybe Officer Norris
I don't
could
even
have-
know him.
Maybe he could have approached
I don't
you
even
in
know
a
him.
friendlier demeanor, but I still have
No,
to
they don't even
defend
have to be
him
friendly.
If he
All
says,
it had to
"Sit
do
down."
was be a professional manner. And the way he approached me was not professional.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
Yes, sir. No, and I value your opinion. I don't completely agree with that.
Understood.
I mean, we have got to have the ability as law enforcement to control the scene. We get a phone call from a citizen, right or wrong, racist or not racist, I don't know, that tells us something. We have to investigate it.
Okay.
We get there, we investigate it. How we go from there is sometimes how you go. Like you said, if the people are monotone and do what we say, and yes, sir, I went through the drive-through, they wouldn't serve me, they pissed me off. Yeah, I flipped them off because they're a bunch of jerks. 2 employees told me I could, 2 told me I couldn't. The moral of that story was, I'm taking my butt to Jack in the Box. I'll go to Jack in the Box, I'll go to Subway, I'll go to Whataburger.
Not on foot from that location, and what else is open? So now let's be logical.
Jack in the Box is open and it's about a
I'm not-
block away.
My feet are already hurting. I just walked from Murphy's to Taco Bell. Now you want me to endure more pain because she don't
Man,
want
I
to
don't,
serve
I
me
don't
for
want you to
no.
cause you any pain. I hate that this
Okay,
happened.
well, me leaving from Taco Bell would have caused more pain on my feet hurting by walking.
How did you get home that night to
I didn't get
Gospel?
home. I went to jail.
Okay. How were you planning on getting home that night?
I was going to go back over there and crank my car up because what I do is at night, I'm a mechanic. I troubleshoot and try to fix my car at night because it gets hot and it vapor locks. I have a 79 Cutlass Caprice, which is a classic, original, and I'm trying to restore it that way. And I can't drive, well, I can drive
Was that
it
the car you were in that night?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the one that got towed, and I had to go and get it from Wildner or Whitner, W-I-L-D.
Widener, I think, yeah.
And it cost me $300 to go get a car for me being towed over a reason I should never have went to jail for, sir. And that bothered me. And it still bothers me now.
I understand it bothers
because I'm still paying for that car because now it hasn't crunk up. I drove it from Widener, got home, and it hasn't crunk up anymore. So I hope that nobody put no sugar in my tank or nothing like that while the car was sitting over at Murphy's. But I asked the clerk there.
Well, if someone put sugar
Was
in your
it
tank,
okay?
let me know because we have videos there too.
I asked the clerk, was it okay for me to walk across the street and leave my car there? And he said yes. I didn't have any intentions on going to jail.
So we didn't tow it that night.
It got towed that next morning. They said when the fuel truck came or something, and it came.
So they towed. Did we tow it? The police or did they tow it?
All I know is when I went over there, she said it was towed,
Okay.
and she gave me a phone number to call him to find it. It took me about 6 hours to find out where he was, so I could have lost my car.
Well, I'm glad you didn't lose your car.
That means a lot to me, and I'm bothered.
All right.
Drove that car 3 times.
Couple more questions and we'll get you out of here. Back to getting into the police car. Didn't want to get in. He said he was pushing on you and holding you to get in the car.
He was asking me to do something that was not possible in my position.
At one point, as you're getting in, he says,
Don't
to
kick
you,
me.
Don't kick me. Did you
And
try
I
to kick him?
paused. No, I did not, because I'm trying to understand where did this come from. Then I turned around and I'm looking at him sitting in the seat trying to adjust in handcuffs, and he's peppered me. Look at the video on the way I was standing when he tell me to get in. He's pushing me. I can't get in that way. And then he only went in one pocket. There was nothing in that. Yeah, it was. I want to say it was Carmex, a cigarette lighter. No, because my small red knife was in this pocket.
And you told him about the knife because they took the knife.
I said, I'm not getting in here. And then I turned to the other officer and I said, will you get this pocket? Because I have 2 knives in here. He didn't check it. That's just what I said. Because I'm aware that if I take a knife into a jail facility or anything like that, that's a felony. Contraband in a facility is a felony. So if I wouldn't have said nothing, by me being blind, I still can't see. The whole time I can't see. No, I can see then. I couldn't see after I got in there. It was 3-4 hours. I couldn't see.
Okay.
And the excuse the EMT used when he pulled on the scene is that he didn't have enough saline solution to do an adequate rinse.
Now they
from
rinsed
pepper
you
spray.
with water.
No, he didn't. He put some water on a paper towel and patted me. And all that did was activated the pepper spray because the officer told him it wasn't CS, it's pepper spray. Pepper spray is riot control. So the more you touch it and rub it, it activates it. And that's why I asked him, you chemical burned me for something and I didn't even do nothing. I was assaulted, man. I was kidnapped because I wasn't read my rights. I was detained unlawfully off of speculation of a call. Caused all of that to transpire. Yeah, I was bothered, and I'm bothered.
I understand.
I was disrespected as a man out there at night, and people riding by looking at me because, say, it bothered my mom to get a call.
And
after 16 years, she ain't talked to this woman, man. I got jumped on. You don't understand how I hurt my mama, man.
Man, I don't want to hurt your mama.
You did already because of how your officer treated
Well,
me.
I will go back to my initial statement. If an officer, even if you don't like his tone or his inflection or his look on his face, asks you or tells you to do something that's lawful, you have to do it.
Yeah, sitting down is not lawful.
It is lawful. No. It is. There are case law that supports an officer's ability to control a scene He gets there. He has no idea who you are. You may be a saint.
There's nothing you can tell me to justify his behavior or actions. Nothing.
I know that. I'm not here trying.
So you don't have to
I'm not
explain
here
on
trying
how
to tell
you would do when you arrived on a scene or what you're supposed to do.
No, but
everything is fluid.
I'm not trying to justify
fluid.
anything to you.
There's
I'm
nothing
trying to
in black
explain to
and
you that
white on
officers
interaction.
have the right to control their scene. Absolutely.
Which
have
brings
the right.
this question.
Just as you did in the
At
military.
what point did Officer Norris lose control of the scene?
I would argue that he didn't lose control of the scene.
So why was I arrested? Why was I detained? You just said you argued that he did or he didn't.
He did not lose control of the scene.
So why did
you
everything?
did not follow.
So he
his
didn't lose control.
orders.
You said that y'all are taught to maintain control of the scene. I said I need to find out where did Officer Norris feel he lost control of the scene. When I stood up and he realized that he wasn't looking down on me anymore and could talk to me like that, that's what changed a lot of things, man. Because when I stood up, he went to grab me. I didn't make any gestures. My hand are by my side and one's behind my back with the phone in my hand on recording. On recording. I didn't look at him. I didn't get aggressive. I didn't turn and square up. I demonstrated no hostility by my actions. Now you can say anything, but you still have to be submissive. And I was submissive. I wasn't combative enough to be pepper sprayed and detained without asking me to identify myself. He already knew who I was. He just seen the other officer talking to me.
We're
done.
We're splitting hairs.
We are.
We're not going to agree.
We'll never see because
We're not gonna agree.
It boils down to implementing a standard. And I haven't seen it. And that's been 2 interactions over the phone. And the information that
But
you
again,
gave
you've
me,
got to
the information
listen
that
to
you
what we
gave
say
me,
when we come on scene. We don't know you.
the information that you gave me about specifying that a communicating a threat is a misdemeanor, I had to bring that up in order for the officer to go back and take a statement in order to file something when someone has threatened me again.
And I
this has
told you,
happened
we will take a
repeatedly
report
here.
if people threaten you. And
This
we'll
was
take a
the
report
first time that they took a report, and that's because I made the statement. Did she tell you what she said? She said, yeah, she did tell me. She said she was going to run up in your shit.
Okay.
That means
But that's entirely different than what we're talking about with Officer Norris.
it
And I
all
get that,
goes
but
together.
But I
There
disagree
is
with
a
you.
pattern of not enough training, interaction, because several things have happened now in order for me to do what we're doing now.
Okay, I understand. Last question, we'll get you out of here.
Yes, sir.
You've told me a couple times you have videos of your interaction with Officer Norris. I have not seen those videos. The videos I saw on Facebook were of the
That was it because, and
But there's,
I'm gonna tell you
there's
something.
nothing with you and Norris.
I'm
That's
gonna
what
tell
I'm
you-
trying to find.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't know what all he did to my phone, but when he turned my phone off, it wasn't supposed to have been turned off then. There was a time more because actually when he took the phone from me, should have been when the recording stopped and I was over at the truck by then. I had the phone the whole time. When he put me in handcuffs, I still had my phone.
So there.
There should have been
no
some
video of.
There should have been some more footage on my phone, but like I said, when he took my phone from me, I couldn't see, and I couldn't see for almost.
But the initial
30,
interaction you should
35.
have had recorded, right?
Yes, it should have been on my phone. That's what I'm saying, because
But it's not.
it's not there. It comes to a point to where when I asked him, "Are you detaining me?"
And he said yes, and he handcuffs you.
and then I turned, he handcuffed me. He didn't
You
take
still
my
had your
phone.
hand in
then.
the phone.
I still
You
had
still
my
had
phone
your
then.
phone in your hand up
It was
until he
still
was trying to get you in the car.
It was still recording. I still had my
But
phone.
those videos are gone, is what you're telling me.
It's not those. There are certain pieces missing.
Because the only video that I have that I saw
I
on
have 4.
Facebook, I've only seen one of the incident was you filming. You're talking and you're saying the lady's locking the door at Taco Bell, I guess.
That's when she was calling 911.
Yeah.
And that's when I said if I was a threat, I would have went through the exit. But then that's me acting like I'm illiterate because the door said exit on it. Why go in an exit post-COVID one way in, one way out. Why contaminate or jeopardize anybody else by me being selfish or stupid? I can read. It said exit for a reason. That's why I didn't go in the exit when she said get out the drive-through.
Okay, no, I'm there. Do you have any questions of me?
None. Today's Thursday. He told me I have till next Friday to pick the video
You can
up.
pick the
10
video up
days.
today.
I'll get it Tuesday. I'm waiting to see how many other people want a copy of it. That's what it is.
Okay.
But it's redacted and everything
Yeah,
is blocked
it's
out.
ready
so
right now if you want it.
I've sent those sheets off. I just want to pick it up one time, and I'm going to call or text before I come to let y'all know how many copies of it I need, because I have a printout from the officer that actually looked at it. It came up like 57 or something like this.
It's 59, I think, but you
Almost
might
60.
be better off. I don't know if you can do it on
No,
a
I'd
computer
rather
that can
get.
burn.
I want to get what y'all have with
perfect.
the redacted copy, because Howard is going to get in touch with y'all to get the unredacted, the attorney that I have, Howard Rosenstein, out of Dallas, Texas. He'll take care of that, the unredacted.
Yes, sir.
Because I want to see what's able to be seen and what's not.